Hello, hello, and welcome. I'm Lerin with Yellow Umbrella Yoga. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for joining me for 30 minutes of corporate yoga. I'll follow my three-part format where first we just spend a couple of minutes getting connected. I'll provide an overview on my plan for this week's meditation technique. And then we'll move and groove together with a little bit of mindful movement for mobility. Everything I have to offer here is a suggestion only. Please take care of yourself. Nobody knows you better than you. And last but not least, we'll wrap up together in our final moments with a few minutes of guided meditation using the techniques that I'll overview momentarily. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out to me via email. You can find my information to connect at yellowumbrellayoga.com. Also, I'd like to introduce my cat, Liam. He may or may not continue to appear throughout our time together. Please take a moment to look around your space, get settled, take care of yourself, get a sip of water or a snack, maybe close a door or mute notifications, set yourself up for success. For this week's meditation technique, I would like to offer kind of a thought exercise paired with exploration of the breath, kind of a method of mindfulness. You can take what you need and leave what you don't. Again, everything I have to offer here is a suggestion from my own practice. This thought experiment or exercise, if you will be to just move through 4 of the commonly 5, but earth elements, if you will, earth, air, fire, and water, and just kind of notice the different qualities that are very similar or very different from the qualities of the breath. In offering these elements, it's not any kind of theory. It's really just a kind of container of ideas that don't require much memorization. Most of us hopefully are familiar in some form with exposure to these ideas of wind and fire and water and earth all together in kind of this little containing idea of what makes up our environment around us. So this might be a little strange. Maybe it's familiar to you. Either way, I appreciate you for coming along on the journey. So do with that what you will. Before we get there, though, as I promised, we will move together. For the poses I have to share with you this week, as always, I will offer variations that are accessible from kind of an office or working style environment. So I'll assume you may be at a table or desk or working space in your environment. Your chair may be different from mine. You may choose to stay seated or join me standing as we practice together. So with that, let's get started. We'll explore a few poses that also maybe bring some ideas of these elements of earth, air, fire, and water in no particular order. I'll invite you to maybe scoot back from your desk or table, make any adjustments in the space around you so that you are able to move around or just kind of see a visual space around you. You might bring your attention to the bottoms of your feet. You can wiggle your toes, whether barefoot or within socks or shoes, and just notice the textures and temperatures there. You might also notice the support of your seat beneath you if you're seated. Maybe a breath in brings tall thoughts. Bear with the camera as it adjusts to the change in the scenery here. Exhale where you are, full complete breath. Maybe do that again. Take a breath in. No need to change it or affect it in any way. Just let it flow into your lungs. Maybe notice the strength of your abdominal and back muscles as you sit up tall. If you choose, you can bring one hand to your face, notice the temperature there, and hold another out in front of you as you exhale cool air into the palm of your hand. You can repeat this if you'd like, or let your hands relax. Take another breath in Maybe this time you softly sort of restrict the back of your throat as though to whisper, warming your breath as it moves over your palate, filling your lungs again. This is called ujjayi breath or ocean breath, named so for the sound it creates in the back of your throat. You might imagine an iron steaming up a piece of clothing on an ironing board as you exhale, still warming that breath. Maybe noticing the qualities of your breath that you share with fire, just releasing heat from your body with that exhale. Nice. Take another breath in. Maybe notice the cool sensation as you do so. Exhale, maybe listen to the sound of that breath. You might sigh with an open mouth and maybe even hang your tongue out, really forcing air out as though to let all of that hot air go, like a dragon breathing fire. Another breath in, your choice how you do so. Another breath out, let that warmth go. Nice. If you choose, bring both hands together in front of you, connecting palms and fingertips, and begin to rub them together. Using the strength of your arms, you can do this quickly if you'd like. Just creating a little bit of heat, noticing the warmth between your hands as you do this for a couple of breaths, maybe. Nice. Maybe as you finish a breath out, you choose to clap, kind of completing that exercise for a moment. A little work with fire and warmth. Nice. You might bring both hands out and up with your next breath in. Eyes can be open or closed. Maybe you look up and watch your hands connect overhead, bringing palms together again. Nice. You might choose to stay here as you take another breath in. And as you exhale, begin to lean to one side. We'll go to the left. Your hands may or may not stay connected. You might create space between them or bend at the elbows and bring opposite hand to opposite elbow. Invite another breath in here, noticing the expansion of your right side rib cage, creating space in the thoracic spine with a nice side bend. Exhale here. See if you can stay long, stay leaning. Find softness even with this effort. Nice. Another breath in, filling up the space with air on that right side body. Fanning out your ribs. Maybe an exhale with strength brings you back to center, maybe pointed towards 12 o'clock or so. Maybe your next exhale brings arms to rest in your lap. Nice. You know where we're headed. With another breath in, when you're ready, bring hands out and up, palms shine forward, jazz fingers if that's your thing. You might connect hands overhead, whether looking at them or not. Nice. Exhale, let that breath go as you tip your teapot over towards the right. Maybe imagining you're the hand on a clock now pointing towards 1:30, maybe 2 o'clock. Hands can go where you choose as you take another breath in, noticing the expansion in your left rib cage this time. Exhale, let it go. Find softness despite your effort. Inhale, another breath in, drawing wind in from without, filling up, creating new space in our bodies. Maybe an exhale brings you back towards 12 o'clock. Arms can extend or lower when you're ready. Nice. From here, it might feel good to bring hands to kneecaps for a little bit of support as maybe you rock back in your seat as though to tuck your tail and look down at your lap, creating a nice rounding in your spine. It might help to adjust in your seat by scooting forward. You can also do this standing by kind of squatting down. I'll demonstrate in a moment if we have time. So maybe here you exhale with this nice scoop in your belly. There's kind of a little extra assistance, almost like squeezing bellows to release all the air from your abdomen. And maybe use the strength of your arms to rock your hips forward, bringing your belly button towards your lap, reversing the arch of your spine, growing tall with a breath in. Maybe your strong arms draw your rib cage forward between your elbows as you look skyward. It might feel nice to press your chin up toward the sky, maybe flapping your jaw to release tension there. Softly breathe out, finding that arch in your spine, rounding again like a Halloween cat. This is a seated variation of cat pose. Look at your lap as you press all the air out. Maybe tuck your chin to your collarbone. Inhale, rippling like a wave with your spine. Find an upright motion as you look skyward on your next breath in. Nice. Try this 3 more times at your pace with your breath. Exhaling, rounding the spine like a Halloween cat. Inhaling, drawing the belly toward the knees. This is a variation of cow pose. Again, creating kind of a rippling of your spine from hips to neck. Kind of starting the movement at the base and moving upward. Like a cobra rising up out of a basket. I don't know if cobras really hang out in baskets, but that's the image that came to mind. So there you have it. Nice. Finish whichever round you're on and decide if you'd like to stay seated or if you're ready or willing to try standing with me. If you'd like, and I invite you to move your seat out of your way, make any other adjustments as needed. Nice. You might look down at your feet and place them as though on imaginary railroad tracks and parallel toes pointed forward, heels pointed back. You can create space between them for stability or bring them close together to practice a little more balance. Find what feels right for you as we prepare to do side bends one more time. Now creating length from heels all the way to our hands. Once you feel grounded, maybe lifting your toes, spreading them wide, placing them back down in your shoes or on the floor. Take a soft bend in your knees. Maybe tuck your tail any amount to bring a kind of level balance to your hips. You might bring your hands to your low ribs as you take a breath in and feel that physical feedback of the expansion there. Nice full breath in. Stay here and notice the contraction as you exhale. Nice. Growing up taller still, you might reach out and up with your hands with another breath in. Maybe look up towards 12 o'clock and exhale as you lean to the left, pointing towards maybe 11, maybe 10. Nice. Take another breath in from toes to nose, noticing your link from the floor to the tips of your fingers. Growing grounded and tall at the same time. Exhale here. Notice your ribs move. Maybe finding strength, returning to center. Inhale, grow tall again from toes to nose. Exhale, softly lean towards the right, maybe pointing your hands on that clock towards 1 or 2 this time. Again, elbows can bend if that feels nice to frame your head and not be quite so extended. Another breath in, root down through your left heel, grow long through left hip and armpit, reaching through your left elbow or maybe fingertips. Notice the expansion of that left rib cage. Exhale, notice it contract as you use strength again to return to tall standing in center. Nice, feel heavy maybe as you lower your hands slowly, reaching towards the ground on your next exhale. Pause here, think tall thoughts with another breath in. Send your feet towards the floor, even if just in your imagination. Maybe reaching your fingertips that way with strength, creating space between shoulders and ears. See if you can press the ground away while also feeling supported with that weight that glues your feet to the floor beneath you. This is mountain pose. You might turn thumbs outward, letting your palms face forward. And squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you, opening your chest, broadening your collarbone. Take another breath in here, feeling strong, feeling tall, feeling grounded. Exhale, same thing, feeling tall, feeling strong, feeling grounded. You might choose to stay here for 3 to 5 breaths or shift your weight to the left as your right foot maybe hovers above the ground. Hands might come to hips as you turn your lifted knee outward and bring toes to the floor and heel to the inside of your standing ankle. Nice, this is tree pose. You can stay here or choose to bring your footprint to the inside of your calf. Or maybe using your right hand to help with support on the front of your right shin. You could bring your footprint above the knee, taking care and creating an opportunity to balance as you connect your footprint with your inseam on your left thigh. Your tree might grow branches at any stage, bringing hands up like the arms of a cactus or goalposts on a football field, or some more natural organic form. Maybe you find a little wind as you look for balance with your standing tree. Notice the sound of your breath. Notice the weight of your foot connected with the floor. Notice any wavering. These things are all natural for a tree. When you're ready, maybe slowly, maybe with control, bring your right footprint to the floor again. And take a breath in your strong mountain pose once more. Nice. You know where you're headed. When you're ready, shift your weight to your right side. Maybe your left foot hovers above the floor. You might bend your lifted knee and send it out to the left and create a little kickstand with your toes on the floor and your heel just leaning softly against the inside of your right ankle. Again, your tree can grow branches at any stage. You decide where you'd like to place your hands and arms in space. You might be creative with it. When your tree feels stable, if you choose to grow it in a new shape, you can lift your left footprint to come to the inside of your right shin. Stay here, or maybe offer support as you bring your foot to the inside of your right thigh. Again, lifting above the knee, not putting pressure on that strong joint. You might stay here wavering in the wind for another breath or two, finding balance, maybe falling over and growing a new tree. Again, these are all natural stages. Give yourself permission to just let the experience go however it will. If you're on carpet, this might be especially challenging with a softer surface beneath you. Shoes might also change the way this balancing experience feels. When you're ready, return both feet to the floor, maybe create an extra footprint of space between your feet. Bending softly in those knees, you can come to a kind of seated position, even though you're standing. So this might look like you're about to sit in a chair. You can connect your hands with your knees, and maybe a breath in tilts your belly button towards the floor as you press on your knees with your hands to lift your chest and maybe look upward for cow pose again. Maybe a breath out scoops your tail under, rippling your spine outward, curling like a cat, still connecting your hands on the fronts of your kneecaps. You might bring your chin to your chest. Nice. Take one more round if you'd like. Inhale for cow. Look up. Let your belly poke out, even though we don't often allow that in our culture. It's okay. Exhale, tuck your tail around your back, find your cat shape. Nice. Press into both feet to stand up tall. Again, you might keep that space between both footprints as you turn your thumbs outward, palms face forward. Think tall thoughts. Full breath in, full breath out. Maybe it feels good to sigh and release that heat from your body. You can let your tongue hang out. Maybe adding a sense of releasing exasperation or excitement. Sometimes that's a thing to just, I'm so excited. Get it out. So do with that what you will. Thanks for moving with me. I invite you to return to a seat if you haven't already, or maybe I'm rejoining you if you have chosen to stay seated until now. In our last few minutes together, as promised, I'd like to move through a guided offering of exploring these elements of fire, water, air, and earth with our breath in mind. And I've heard it said from a yoga instructor before, I wish I had a more specific source to offer. If I find one, I'll share it. But we go through this process when we get to know somebody or a new idea of our first impression being kind of noticing our opposites and maybe having a thought of, I am nothing like this. And then we kind of continue to observe and maybe start to notice a few similarities with this idea and maybe have a response closer to, well, I'm something like this. And then going beyond that still to continue to observe what we have in common, we start to, again, turn our attention back to our breath in this case of meditative exercise. But maybe we find a space of embrace for an idea and are then able to respond with a thought more like, I am nothing but this. And so it's interesting how we can change our minds, sometimes just by watching our minds, or just being aware that we're thinking. So do with that what you will. As I move through this exercise, I will offer kind of some thoughts to consider about each of these elements and what they may or may not have in common with your experience as we consider our breath together. So again, using the elements is just to give us 4 or 5 posts of concepts to consider our similarities and differences to. and sort of use as a thought container for a mental exercise to move through the breath, to sit quietly for a few minutes without requiring memorization or a special book in front of us to get through it. So you know where we're headed. I will offer you to turn your attention to your breath and listen to the sounds, notice the space around you, invite your senses to interact with your breath as we explore these ideas together. Let's begin with this idea of wind, of air. Take a breath in and notice the sound as it moves over your palate. Maybe thinking about the expansion of your rib cage as we did in our time together of moving. And as you think about this idea of air, this element of wind, if you will, maybe think to yourself, if you'd like, as I think about quick wind, I notice the steady quality of my breath. Take another breath in. If you'd like, you can say to yourself, my breath moves in one direction, like the wind. As you breathe out, notice that direction change. Another breath in. If you'd like, you can say to yourself, I watch my thoughts change direction like a scarf in the wind. Breathe out. Another breath in. Wind blows in as a breath. Wind blows out as a exhale. Another breath. Expansive. Another breath out, all in one direction. I invite you to see the idea of air is pleasant. Or move along with me as you invite another breath in and consider the element of fire. Perhaps the first thoughts about fire are what we don't have in common. Maybe a breath in brings a palm to your face, noticing the temperature there. Maybe a breath out lands in your palm, slow and cool, as you say to yourself, as I think about hot fire, I notice the cool quality of my breath. Take another breath in, maybe noticing that cool temperature again as it moves over your airways. Maybe exhale with soft restriction in your throat as though to hug the breath and warm it as you let it go. Maybe saying to yourself, my breath is warm like fire. Inhale, watching your thoughts dance like a friendly flame in the dark. Exhale, let that go. Maybe still holding that whisper in your throat as you breathe in again, still warming that air, saying, I breathe fire in. Maybe as you prepare to exhale, you open your mouth and let your tongue hang out and think to yourself, I breathe fire out, releasing that heat from the body, maybe releasing a sense of awkwardness. It's okay if that feels strange. Breathe in again, deciding if you'd like to stay with this idea of fire, noticing the warmth of your breath in and out, or move along with me to this idea of water as you exhale. Maybe thinking to yourself on your next breath in, as I think about wet water, I notice the dry quality of my breath. Exhale, letting that breath go. Maybe noticing as your breath flows in again with another long inhale that it fills the space in your rib cage, whatever shape that takes. Just like water, it fills the shape of its container. If you'd like, you can say to yourself as you exhale, I watch my thoughts rise and fall like waves on the shore. Letting another breath pour in like water into a vase. Exhale, letting it flow out. Another breath in to decide if you'll stay here with this idea of water or move along with another round of breath to consider the element of earth. Maybe another breath in brings the thoughts or even words to your lips. As I think about heavy earth, I notice the light quality of my breath. Exhale, maybe feeling heaviness, noticing where your body meets the support of your seat or the ground beneath your feet. Maybe as you breathe in again, you think to yourself, my breath is comforting like the firm ground. Maybe as you exhale, you watch a few thoughts grow like branches on a tree in all directions, still part of the same trunk. Maybe say to yourself with another breath in, I grow steady with each breath. Maybe say to yourself with another breath out, I grow steady with each breath. Nice. Take another breath in, maybe considering all four elements now, noticing your wholeness, your fullness as you fill up with all this warmth and air and moisture and excitement as the heartbeat quickens with more breath in, maybe as the hands reach up. Exhale, let that all go, pressing air out, feeling heaviness again, maybe finding tallness in your seat as well. And I invite you to return to this container of ideas and practice a few breaths with earth, air, fire, and water in mind, or any one of them if one is particularly calming on a day when it comes to mind. Thanks for going along and joining me either way. I hope something here was useful. And if you'd like to download a small worksheet to kind of take this exercise home with you without relying on the familiar drone of my voice in your ear, please check it out at yellowumbrellayoga.com. I hope to see you next time. Join me again See you soon.